G'day and welcome to the Grow a Small Business Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Truen. Each week, we speak with an owner who has grown a business with 5 to 30 team members to something bigger. Diving into their numbers and unearthing the pain they've experienced, we explore what they did to overcome each barrier and what they would do differently from day one. Let's get into it. We'll have all the show notes and any resources mentioned in the cast on our website. In 1993, aged 21, quit hairdressing for a love of providing massages. Now, 27 years later, her mobile massage business is in all states and territories in Australia except Tasmania. They provide massage and beauty services in rooms, mainly in 800 4- or 5-star hotels. Also helps celebrities on tour such as Lady Gaga, Branson, Matthew McConaughey and Russell Brand. Kym started as the one FTE, earning $20,000 in her first year, more than as a hairdresser. Now has 9 FTE in head office, including her, and around 100 contractors providing the services, with sales each year pre-COVID around $2 million. Kym recommends putting in good systems, procedures and training. This allows her to take 3 months a year off and travel overseas. Only funding was a $5,000 car loan to start, then all from profits. Really struggled balance early on, but now feels she has nailed it. Felt she succeeded when finding things to do better and helping people. Hardest thing about growing a small business is self-sabotage. What Kym would tell herself on day one of starting out is, it's harder than what I think, but it's worth it. Listen to episode 12 and hear how Chris and Caroline took over a dead bar and turned it into a thriving craft beer and American-style food pub, growing 20% a year and now with 13 FTE. Welcome everyone. Today I'm interviewing Kym Power from Rejuvenators Health Massage. Thanks for your time this morning, Kym.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
How we know each other, Peter, our podcast editor, reached out, and I'm really glad you've been able to come on today and share your journey with us.
Yeah, look, it's absolutely my privilege. I wish there had been more of this around when I first started business many moons ago.
Me too, hearing a lot of
it's been really helpful.
Yes, hearing a lot of the not just the good things that people have gotten right in their small business growth journey, but also all the fuck-ups and things that have really gone wrong and mistakes people are happy to admit to.
Yeah.
Well,
there's a lot of those.
Yeah. Tell the audience a bit about your business, where it's located, what it does and how it makes money.
Yeah, sure. So Rejuvenators is a mobile massage company. We operate all across Australia, Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth and Adelaide.
Don't forget Tasmania.
Yeah, we don't go there, sorry.
No, that's all right.
I love Tassie, but we just don't work there.
I was in South Australia on a whiskey work week thing over there, and they just released this new logo, the South Australian government, and it's just a logo of the Australian mainland. Tasmania is not there, and I could not believe the audacity of this South Australian government. I think they were just having a dig at the Tasmanians, but yeah, we oft get forgotten down here, this little island just south of Melbourne.
Oh, it's so beautiful. I've toured around Tassie quite a bit, and I just loved it. I took my dad. We had a great time.
Really nice. It's beautiful. Yeah, so, sorry, keep going.
That's okay. And so we work with primarily about 800 hotels, 4- and 5-star hotels. And in partnership with them, we deliver all of their guest experience while they're staying there. And we do in-house massage and beauty in the actual guest rooms, not in a day spa.
Got it. Yeah, I was going to ask that. Yeah. Okay. And have you seen that become increasingly popular over the last decade or so?
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, it's, through the roof. So obviously we go to people's homes as well, and we do corporate office massage and conferences and events and things like that. So the other part of the business is I tour with a lot of celebrities when they're traveling and, after gigs and things like that. So I'll be, me or the team will be backstage working on them to help them get over the stress of it all.
Yeah, great. And can you drop any big names?
Like heaps. I sort of forget them, so it's quite funny. It's like I'm not making it up, I just forget. So it's like the bigger ones are Lady Gaga. I've got a list behind me so I can just double check. Like Kanye West, Richard Branson, Russell Brand was really lovely. Anthony Robbins, Michael Crawford, Matthew McConaughey,
wow.
Dale, tons and tons.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah.
And tell our audience how the business started out.
Yeah, so look, it's very humble. I was a hairdresser. I switched out of hairdressing into massage from the scalp massage at the basin. Everyone was like, oh my God, Kym, you're so good at that. You should be a masseuse. And so I didn't know what that was. I went and studied it, fell in love with it, and the rest, they say, is history. So I worked for a guy in his clinic for a little while, and then I moved on to doing mobile work. I realised there was a bit of a gap in the market, and so just approached a hotel in Brisbane and went from there to, all word of mouth, growing and growing and growing.
Yeah, now I'm reflecting because I'm looking at your website. I do recall seeing your logo in the hotel rooms, little stand-up cards, etc., and in the compendium. Yeah.
Yep.
So what year did you start?
93.
Wow, you went out on your own in 1993.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is definitely, a first mover advantage, mobile massage, particularly focusing on hotels. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to say it was crafted and strategized. It wasn't. It was just me, like, really loving what I did and seeing a little bit of a gap, and then just wanting to do great work for people.
Yeah, right. Got it. So it's 27 years. I'm really looking forward to hearing that journey. Can you give the audience an idea of what age you were when you decided to take that brave jump, go out on your own?
Yeah, I was probably like 21.
Yep. Wow. Yeah. Very, very brave.
Very naive.
And just after the recession too.
Yeah. I didn't even know that probably happened at the time, oblivious to it all. So, yeah.
And what about some key numbers you can share to illustrate the growth of the business over those nearly 3 decades?
Yeah, sure. So, throughout that time, obviously when I first started, it was me. I didn't know what I was going to charge. There was no plan. It was like, well, maybe I'll charge this. And so I think, in my first few years, it was just cash and there was no systems, no structure. So it probably was still a lot more than I made as a hairdresser, 20 grand, 30 grand or something the first couple of years.
Yep.
And then as it grew over time, we really ramped up to, over $1 million a year, like 1.5 mil, nearly 2 mil some years, back down a bit, like moving all around. Like it's definitely shifted and changed over time.
Yep, great. And in more recent times, just before COVID hit, obviously, so around the couple of million mark by then?
Yeah.
Yep, great. And what about number of team members, full-time equivalents for FTEs?
Sure. So it's an interesting number for us. Really, most of our team are contractors. All of our therapists are their own business within our business. So there's about between 80 and 100 at any given time that are sort of stretched across the country.
Yeah.
And then in regards to head office team and my call centre staff, I pretty much decided a little while ago to move everyone onto contract, like bringing them in under their own business structure, just for simplicity and ease of going virtual. So, there's like 3 people in head office and then call centre staff up to 5, depending on demand.
Yep, great. So your contract massage therapist, roughly how many hours a week, and divide that by 40 will give you, the full-time equivalent. Any idea on that? Would there be 20 or 30?
Couldn't tell you. I haven't got a clue. Like, that's my operations manager. He does that stuff. And I'm not the numbers person. Like, truly the big thing with therapists is that they can choose to do an hour a week on call if they want, or they can do, 80 hours a week.
Yeah, great. And none of it's franchise. It's your own brand. Everyone's, great.
Yep.
And when was the moment you felt like you'd succeeded?
I still don't. I know that might sound really weird, but for me, it's more about refining things all the time and finding a way to do it better, to do it smarter, to help more people, and really honour the, my true passion and drive to make a difference in people's lives, not just our end user client, but our hotel partners, to make their life easier, and obviously all of our amazing therapists, to give them an income when for some of them marketing is not their strong point. You know, they really struggle with that.
Yep. And what does success look like to you?
Well, it has shifted over the years. Probably initially when I was just single little me, I was so happy being busy and booked out. It was the coolest thing. And I couldn't believe people were paying me to do what I did. It was like, oh my God, this is like incredible. I get paid for this and it feels amazing. And, you know, to this very day, Troy, I still feel like that when I'm hands-on or when I'm coaching with clients. So I just feel super blessed. If I'm in my flow and in my zone of genius in that place, the success is inherent. It's there right at that second. If I move out of that, as you have to as an entrepreneur and a business owner, and you've got to dabble in other bits and pieces of the business, then I really can get a bit tongue-tied and stressed and lost in the journey. Success these days probably looks for me about very much a holistically balanced life. I went through the workaholic stage, being burnt out, exhausted, hating my business, all of that.
Been there, done that.
So now it's really trying to find the best possible way to have the business work sustainably with my own health, and, you know, being able to have like 3 holidays a year, you know, obviously working my way up to like a month at a time for each of those holidays. So, you know, some fairly big picture things in that, and I'm glad to say that happens quite often.
That's
now.
Good. And so how many weeks a year on average would you be taking those holidays?
Last year I think we took 2.5 months off, and the year before I think it was 3. You know, when I got married we took 6 weeks off. That's great. And toured, and it was amazing.
And it's great that you had the business at a stage where you could, and you still do, are able to step away from it and it's still running itself.
Yeah.
Well done.
Look, you know, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, and I wish it was just perfect all the time and easy and simple, and guess what? It's never going to be that. You know, there's always things that fall over or break, or someone's unhappy about something, and everyone's perception's different. So I had to stop being a people pleaser and trying to make everyone happy and go, oh, hold on a minute. Like, I'm supposed to be doing this for my life and for the betterment of me, not just everybody else that I serve. That was a big learning lesson. That was hard.
And how long into your journey do you think it took until you really nailed that?
Oh, too long. Too long. Probably good 10 years, 12 years.
I think I'm about that same timeline. About halfway of my small business career is about 20 years, so about halfway through, I think. Number one thing you'd recommend to marketing a fast-growing business?
Partnerships. Definitely, like relationships and partnerships. Like literally, I grew Rejuvenators from, you know, really caring, like deeply caring about how I could help people, how I could make their lives better. And, you know, from the beautiful relationships that I still have with so many of my amazing hotel partners and their GMs and their staff, and, you know, really just like it wasn't some contrived thing, you know. I didn't even know it was called partnerships at the time. Like, no idea. It was just like, that was just me doing what I did. So,
Great. And how did you fund your business?
All self-funded.
Right. So no investors?
Initially, I got a $5,000 car loan.
And instead of buying a car, you started a business?
Well,
you got the car.
I needed the car to start the business.
Yeah. Great. But so no other bank loans or investors or government grants? Wow. Well done.
Thanks.
And if you were to start up today with plenty of funding, would you go into your industry?
Yes.
Yep.
I would just do it way smarter.
Yep.
With lots more expert people around me.
Yeah.
That I could afford to pay, you know, like really well.
Yep. And can you outline the most stressful point in your small business growth journey so our audience can learn from it?
Well, if you've got probably the next 10 hours, maybe.
I said just one. I said the most.
Many. Oh, my goodness gracious. I think the biggest thing for me, because I'm so big picture, I'm creative, and I am touchy-feely, of course, being a therapist and a healer, that the numbers never made sense for me. And it was like, oh, yeah, someone else can deal with that. Like my accountant can deal with that.
Yep.
And my very first accountant, I found he had some, I don't know if it was Alzheimer's or something, but anyway, I found him in a caravan with like client files everywhere. He just went off the radar. And so that was my first induction into trying to find good people to work with and support me.
Finding a good accountant is real. I was just saying this in a meeting this morning. It's really, really hard. When you find a great one, you hold on to them. I've had mine for 20 years. He's awesome. But with the companies I work with, there's probably 4 or 5 different accounting firms across Australia and New Zealand that I work with. And most of them, probably half of them are just shite.
And I think the worst part is you spend so much money, you expect them to give you really good quality input.
Yep.
And, you know, they're the advisor, they're telling you what to do, and you go, okay. And then you move accountants because something's not working or whatever. And then they go, oh, no, that's not right. Yep. And then you have to do it all over again.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
But we're the ones that are liable for the advice we were given. And it's like, this is such a broken system.
Yep. So what around that most stressful point then, anything you do differently or advice you'd give to others?
Oh, my God, yes. So if you are scared of numbers, if you hate the financials, if you don't understand like spreadsheets and P&Ls and cash flow analysis and all of those things, do not do what I did and just ignore it and think it'll be okay, because it won't. It crashes and burns, and I nearly lost my company. I had to fire sale my house to save it.
Really?
Yeah. And I probably, look, you know, it was all on me, like no one else. So that was one of the biggest stressful things that I went through. And just trying to come back from that and go, well, what do I know and what don't I know? And money mindset, like getting my head right. My mum and dad were just beautiful employees. Like mum was a homemaker and dad worked on the railways, so they didn't know anything about money. You know, I don't even remember us having conversations about money. So that was really crucial. I know, you know, there's so many courses out there, there's so many books. One of the things that helped me the most was I brought it with me, Barefoot Investor.
I love Scott Pape's Barefoot stuff. He's really awesome. And I love how much he hates the Commonwealth Bank and the Dolomite scheme, which I read the other month has added about $1 billion value to the bank. For those that don't know, that are outside Australia, the Dolomite scheme is for schools. So after I read that book, I marched my 7-year-old down to the CBA. We closed her account and we threw out the platypus little money box thing, because they get you in, you know, depositing money into your account when you're a young child and then a teenager. And as soon as you hit 18, they send you a letter with a credit card and you're on the debt cycle. He's great. Yeah, really good advice.
And I love the way Scott makes it very not scary. It's just really conversational and just simple steps. And that really, I've been following him for, I don't know, however long it's been since he brought that book out initially. And that changed a lot for me. And then over time, I've obviously scaled up in the level of understanding. I did go to uni for a bit and I did like postgrad, like MBA type stuff. And I hated it.
Do you think you got anything much out of it, much value out of it?
How to write stupid assignments in the way that they like. I found that a lot of my peers in class with me were asking me stuff at the time about my business and what I'd done to grow, you know, into a national business and stuff. So there wasn't a lot of practical skills.
Yeah.
There was a lot of no.
I wrote a blog post about this about 10 years ago, which is on my website now, but I was on a beach in Thailand on my way back from London and wrote one of the topics was why if you want to get into small business, you should skip an MBA and invest that money in starting your business and just get on with it, get some experience. MBAs are good for more corporate kind of stuff. They do have some value, but if you're looking at running a business, you do not need an MBA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree.
And just back on Scott Pape, the Barefoot Investor book, I mean, that's Australia's #1 non-fiction book by sales. I think he's sold almost 2 million copies. And obviously that's just showing people out there are crying for this financial education, not just in homes as well, but also business as well. And our schools, which he's a big advocate of, is getting financial education within our schools, which, I'm a big fan. He's very down to earth and he's a farmer now these days as well.
Yeah, and a dad of many.
Yeah. What area in business do you feel you had to work on the most to add the greatest value?
My mindset.
Yep, that's a big one.
Definitely.
Yep.
Just challenging myself, my beliefs. Imposter syndrome, getting over that.
Yep.
And probably maybe the systems, you know, like I write systems and I will do that stuff, but I really don't love it. Like,
What have you enjoyed the least about managing the fast growth?
People.
As I say, the hardest thing in small business and where the value is at.
Yeah, definitely. Look, it can feel like herding cats sometimes.
Yep.
And no, I don't want to sound disparaging to any of my team throughout the years. It's just really bloody hard.
Yep.
And if I had have realised how hard it was, maybe would never have started a business and grew it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And what do you love most about growing a small business?
The challenge of it. And, it's still seeing the joy on clients' faces when they hop off the table or when I finish doing a virtual session and just seeing relief flood through them.
Yep.
To go, or if it's a concierge, booking a treatment for a guest, then being grateful that we can have someone there within an hour's notice.
Yeah.
Or one of my therapists saying, thank you, it's been a great week.
Yep.
I think, the big thing is in all the years we've been growing, like we have been diligent in the safety and security of what we do and how we do it. And so I probably gloss over it a bit much. I just take it for granted. But, we've never had anyone attacked, mugged, anything like that.
That's great.
And there's some hard and fast things that have to be done to protect our team going into hotel rooms and going into people's homes. To do something as personal as a massage. Yeah. So, we're super strict with it. We screen every single call. And we've got certain keywords and red flags and all sorts of things that I've done training and development with my entire team on. So I'm super proud of that. And I think, that's one of the joys, to be able to maybe give myself a bit of a pat on the back and go, oh yeah, that's right. Like, we've done an amazing job for the zillions of massages we've done in all these years. Yep.
Yeah. And what's been the biggest mindset shift for you in your small business growth journey?
I think it was when I went from just me being a therapist by myself to bringing other people on when I ran out of friends that I'd studied with at college who I knew were brilliant, and I had to start recruiting, and then I realized how crap the majority of therapists were in the industry, and it was like, oh God, that was just awful. Then it was, okay, so this is harder than I thought. How do I give consistent quality service And it was building out our entire training platform, which has probably been in place, like video training and online learning and, all of the checklists and customer feedback, 100-point checks and all that sort of stuff to make sure that we had that in place. That was probably the biggest, aha moment. Yeah.
What's the number one habit you think a small business owner needs to develop and maintain?
It's a really good question. There are so many. I'm taking it into my sphere of influence, and for me it would be their own health and well-being. You are not your business, and if you build a massively successful, profitable business, that's all well and good, but if you're too sick to enjoy it, or you're now divorced because your relationships have gone down the chute, it doesn't work, it's not supposed to be like that. So
it's myopic. People think, I'll work hard, build up wealth, retire, and then, can travel the world with my partner. And they get there and they turn around, their partner's not there because they were sick of never seeing them. There's no strong relationship built. I see that a lot, early on, and then people eventually do wise up.
Yeah, that would definitely be it. It's like having a really strong routine every day and prioritizing yourself and your health and your well-being in the journey, because without your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, your physical health and your financial health, you're just screwed basically.
Yeah, totally agree. Want to become the best manager you can be? Check out our Kick-Ass Manager course at growasmallbusiness.com. Do the course and add your fellow managers for no extra cost. Join the 30%. 70% of people quit their job because of their manager. Can you talk to how you added people to the team, some wins, mistakes and advice for those listening?
Yes. So my mistakes is I hire people that I like. and similar to me, which is really bad because we're all big picture creative and we get excited and we start stuff but we don't finish it.
Yep.
So that was a real shocker.
Have you gotten better at it though?
Yeah. I only come in at the end of the hiring process now. My ops manager does all of the start of it for me, and it's all systemized and
Do you use any behavioural models like Myers-Briggs or DISC?
Look, I've looked at it and dabbled in it over the years. Probably the one we use most now is Wealth Dynamics.
Right.
So Roger Hamilton's one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Any other advice for those listening about adding people to the team?
Hire above yourself. Make sure that they know more than you in whatever area it is that you're hiring for.
Yeah.
Don't be scared of that.
Yeah.
Really embrace it.
Yep. Good advice. What are some of the things you'd recommend to building a sustainable and kick-ass culture to help with the growth?
It's a struggle. It changes quite often, as society changes and the demands and needs of the ages that are coming through the business. So for us over the years, we've had to change and adapt so many things to be more in line, with where people really are on their own personal journey. And that's been quite difficult, especially with contractors, because they're their own business, their own entity. They can do what they want, they can work, they can not work. So it's not like an employee where they're, pretty much there and you can do team meetings and all of those things. So, that was tough.
And tell our audience how you've handled balance.
Really shit at it in the early days.
Yeah, that's honest.
Super.
Yeah.
And now really good.
Yep.
Now really good. But, I just wish I had have known what I know now many moons ago.
How long into the journey do you think before you really started to work on that?
Gosh. I think probably about, I could say 5 years in, because I was 24 hours, 7 days a week on call for the first 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Just thinking, oh, well, the hotel's needed because they're open 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, yes, I would just get up and go to work at 3 o'clock in the morning because someone was jet lagged and they couldn't sleep, or they were playing in the casino and, you know, high roller or whatever. And so then I suppose I had the luxury of sleeping in the next day and resting and recuperating. I remember my first house that I did buy, I put a beautiful spa in the backyard, and I would come home after work and I would just hop in the spa and look at the moon. And that was the best, like just beautiful moments. So there was some balance, but that could have been better.
And what, do you have a hobby at the moment?
My hobby would probably just be like Pilates and yoga and, you know, going away to meditation retreats. I do Vipassana, which is a silent meditation retreat.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's been phenomenal for mindset. Like going through massive challenges, it just gives you an internal resilience like nothing else.
Yeah, absolutely. Meditation, yoga and Pilates, etc., are all great mechanisms to help, I think, business owners. And I've got into it in the last year or so.
That's great. Yeah.
How much professional development did you invest in yourself over the years? Books, podcasts, courses, training, conferences and events?
Tons and tons and tons.
Shitloads.
Yeah. I was going to say that and I was like, no, don't swear again. So, look, I've done probably 3 Unleash the Power Within, UPWs with Tony Robbins. I've done 2 Date with Destinies. I was very blessed to be on stage with Tony for one of them. And after being single for 10 years and not having success finding a really long-term partner, I had been with one and that had ended. Then I was on stage with him, and within a year of that, I met my to-be husband.
Yep.
So it absolutely works. And I've also done 2 years of neuro-linguistic programming training myself. So I'm a qualified accredited trainer.
Yep.
And I do that in my wellbeing coaching with clients now too.
Yeah, great. Good. And have you had mentors or coaches along the way?
Tons.
Yep.
Tons. Yep. Male, female, some good, some shit.
Yep.
Like,
what areas were they helping you with?
Mainly business.
Yep.
You know, different aspects of business. And I found that over time you really need to move between them. You know, you sort of get to a level where it's like, oh, I've got that. And you feel bad. I felt bad leaving.
Yeah.
Go to someone else, but it actually is it's a necessity.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. And do you have a board of directors or advisors at the moment?
Yeah, probably the last 2 and a bit years, maybe. I think it's been. I lose track of my timeline. It's a bit like all over the shop.
Yep.
So we've been in a board, and it's a coaching board. So it's 10 other small businesses plus our, our chairman, and he's our business coach. So that we come together every quarter. We do a review of all of our numbers and, you know, our strategies and what's working, what's not working. And then we put together like what's ready, what's going to happen over the next quarter. And it just helps to hold us accountable for where we're going and what we want.
Oh, it's a big thing having that accountability, especially if you're a sole owner. So the 10 people on that board, are they other business owners or they're, yeah, right. So it's like a
it's like a not a big corporate board.
No, it's like a mastermind group, would you say?
Yeah, but we call it.
That peer networking or advising, you know, you get so much value out of that, and confidence as well when you know that it's not just you that find people the hardest thing in business or the mistakes we all make. And yeah, that's
that
great.
We're not alone. Like it's like, oh my God, thank God it's not just me.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
All right, Kym, we're on to our final 5 questions. What do you think is the hardest thing in growing a small business?
Probably self-sabotage. You know, like it's ourselves. Like I kept repeating the same patterns. Like I thought I'd cleared it and I would get so far and then it would all fall over and then I'd pick it back up and then fall back over. And it's like, oh my God. So having to figure out what that is and dive in and clear it. That's where, NLP really helped change everything, changed how I perceived life and, how I did life. So that was monumental.
The NLP is great, neuro-linguistic programming, which I spoke of a few casts ago. It's the words we use, what we tell ourselves, phrases, etc. It's really, really powerful.
Yep. Yeah, it is just phenomenal. I use it these days for like my holistic body work. So rather than just do a massage and then you keep coming back with the same ache or pain, I work with my clients, and it's like, okay, well, what's going on? And we look at it from a physical level and energetic level, because I've studied in India doing pranic healing and all sorts of cool stuff. So it all comes together, and it's like, let's clear off the mindset belief stuff around it, or any trauma or emotional attachment, like where it's stuck in a cell of the body, literally.
Yep.
So that it's just the coolest stuff. It blows my mind, and it's like the biggest rabbit hole that I just adore going down. So I will never stop learning and growing, and it's like that's what I bring to all of my clients.
Yeah. Oh, great. What's your favourite business book which has helped you the most?
Obviously, Barefoot Investor was brilliant. I suppose it's not really business, but the E-Myth, which was my first business book I ever read.
Oh, aren't you lucky? I wish that was about my 27th. A mate had just finished his MBA, one of my business partners actually at the time, and we were talking, and we agreed to swap each other's favourite business book. And I can't remember what crappy book I gave him, but when I was so grateful when he gave me the E-Myth, it just blew me away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any great podcasts or online learning tools you use for your own professional development?
I would like to say I've got like one that springs to mind, probably just Google. Like when I'm lost and I don't know what the hell I'm doing, Google is my best friend. Yeah.
One tool you'd recommend to help grow a small business?
Automation. Automation and outsourcing.
Yep.
Yep.
And final question, what would you tell yourself on day one of starting out?
It's harder than what I think, but it's worth it.
Yep. Brilliant. Well, thanks for your time today, Kym. I think the audience get a lot of value out of hearing your journey and wins, as well as things that have gone wrong. And thank you very much for sharing that with everyone. And congratulations on your success. I think that's a wonderful journey, and I think you should be very proud of what you've achieved.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been my pleasure. I hope that there's something helpful for someone in that. And I've got if anyone wants to follow me on Instagram, it's just Kym Power Wellbeing.
Yep.
And I pop some little bits and tricks and tips there, just to help with mindset and empowerment, and just not abusing your body and getting to the end of the journey where it's like, oh shit, I screwed that up.
That's it. Yeah. Well, Peter will link through to that in the show notes so people can click through and have a look.
Awesome. Thank you so much for today. It was lovely to hang out.
Yes.
And hopefully, I'll be able to get down to Tassie soon.
Yes. Or when I'm up in Brisbane next, whenever we're allowed to really get around the country again, catch up for coffee.
Yep. Sounds great.
Thanks, Kym.
Thanks, Troy. See you. Bye.
And for our audience, we'd greatly appreciate a review in iTunes or whatever platform you listen to us on. More reviews means we bubble up higher in iTunes, etc. So more business owners looking for podcast help with their growth will find us.